All right, so we leaving off where the suspended license begins. So the suspended license actually begins after we leave Vegas. How we got to Vegas was because I left the program and was put into another program in Oakland, which was the social model church-based program. When I got there in 2005, 2006, they told me, hey, we are 18 months. So you're going to sign this little contract and you're going to agree to be with us for 18 months. And my first thought was, Lord, I don't want to be away from my kids any longer than I already have been. But at this point, what can you do? You're in the system. So you're going along with the system. So I said, okay. All right. So I said, okay, we'll do. In my mind, I agreed, signed that contract. But in my head, I'm going, I verbally, like, physically, you saw me doing this. Yes. But in my head, I'm like, no. You'll get 8 months and I'm going to leave if I don't want to do this. But surprisingly, the spirit moved me. The people there moved me. I became friends with people and I forgave. When I had the first meeting with a bunch of black men sitting there in a line, looking like Muslims, like the Nation of Islam, just sitting there, like they weren't in uniform, but they was all sitting there quietly listening to this black man who was a preacher talk about his recovery. Respectfully, I started to forgive a lot of the people I was angry at. My kid's father, my father, for him being in his addiction when I was younger. My kid's father for just not understanding how we could have done this a little bit better. Just started forgiving them people. I started forgiving. That was the basis of my forgiveness. Sitting around a bunch of black men in Oakland in early 2004 and 5 and knowing that they were struggling with life too. That helped me. That helped me understand that you weren't the only one. Don't think it's just you as a black woman that's going through it, black men going through it too. Because for a minute, I didn't care about what they was going through. I was angry. So it started to give me more of a empathy and understanding and compassion for my brothers because I didn't have that. I was coming out of abusive situations and I was like, fuck them. So that helped tremendously. And I know that's why I stayed. Bobby came somewhere into my almost year in the program. He was a friend, also a counselor. Like he was one of the bigger, older brothers, like a resident advisor, because he had graduated already and stayed there to kind of support the other brothers. So, and there was a woman there who was very much into Bobby, but I had told him that. I was like, you have a woman that's like old enough to be that woman for you. But clearly, he had other pursuits in mind. So he came into my life 2006, 2005. And for the next 2-3 years, that became somewhat of the reconstruction period. But also during that reconstruction period, I was dealing with domestic violence, which I did not see coming because he was very smooth and sweet about it. And I didn't see the signs. I mean, he would buy me flowers. Stuffed animals is my favorite thing to this day. You could buy me a big ass stuffed animal and I'm gonna fucking I'm a shit on myself, be so excited, okay? Because those are things I always wanted. When I would go to carnival and stuff, I was like, I want the big stuffed animal. For what? I don't know. And the girls, you know why? Because when I was in the 80s and I would go into the girls' bedrooms at my sister's friends and stuff in LA, and they had the nice plush rooms with the nice canopies, the big fucking stuffed animal was all I ever wanted. I didn't want that canopy bed. I didn't want my room to be pink. It could have been nice little soft whites and yellows and greens, but I wanted that big ass stuffed animal because I always thought that she was rich because she had a big ass stuffed animal. But anyway, he bought me stuffed animals. He gave me money. He took care of my needs when I said I needed yogurt and I was in the program and my family wasn't really, I'll never forget. I was like, I just need some yogurt. I was talking to somebody and my family wasn't really supporting me. Nobody was coming by to see me, except for Michael. And Michael was on his way to work most of the time, so he would stop by on his way home, like, because that was his route to work. And Bobby went and bought me 2 bags full of fucking Yoplait. I should have known then, y'all. But I didn't, because I didn't know. Okay? He bought me my first cell phone. He took me, introduced me to his family at a picnic. You know, like, he rented cars to take me places. He rented a room for our first time together. Like, he did these things that didn't say 2 years into this relationship, I'm gonna beat your ass and bite the shit out you. Like, he never said that. Never said 2-3 years into this relationship, I'm gonna get crazy, take the ring back and go pawn it off so I can go get high. Like, it didn't say that. So when I left again to go back up to my mom's, It was 2007, 2008. And I had to because we were struggling. Bobby gave up the apartment. He had saved all his money, was trying to get, he had a good job when I met him. He was doing good. So we were trying to stay together. We both were sober. And then something switched. His friend, Larry, because they're both gone now. May they both rest in peace. His friend Larry at the time was like, it was you. Thanks, Larry. Thank you. I thought I was coming and doing a good thing because we didn't go out and get together until after he started losing the place. And he went out because I felt like when he ran out on me during Christmas one time and took off, I was like, okay, so I'll just go out there with you. So I'll know where you at, you know, doing the stupid thing. And then domestic violence came in sometime after that. And then it just kind of, and then when I went up to my mom's, he found a way up there. My mother welcomed him. My mother didn't have any sons. She's always wanted sons. If she could have had sons instead of girls, I'm sure she would have been happy. But she wanted to have a bunch of kids, and my daddy wasn't having it. So when Bobby came up there and sat down with her and decided to sip in the afternoons and have those cocktails with her, that became their bonding moment. And then there was not much else I could do after that. Things became crazy and aggressive. I still kept my jobs. I have pictures in my day planners of me with my wounds from incidences we've had where, you know, I cut my eye, which is why I have this thing above my eye right here. That's finally kind of gone away, but it took a while. My reconstruction period was also shadowed and could have been overshadowed by the domestic violence. But unfortunately, the domestic violence came in as a crutch, which I hate to say, because it was a saving grace. If it wasn't for the domestic violence, I wouldn't have moved to Vegas. I wouldn't have left California. I left California for about 2 years to really try to heal and to finish doing some school and just to get out of the way of people and just avoid all of the madness. And that is kind of when I started working on just being a better mom. And so my daughter and me just had better, we just bonded better. And I started telling her a lot of things, and I started telling her, I'm sorry. Tell your kids you're sorry. Apologize to them, please. It don't matter. They understand it. So I got a job at a private preschool, which I thought was fancy because it's in Summerlin. You know, it's nice. It's not that ghetto part of Vegas, even though there's not really too many ghetto parts of Vegas, but it's in that uppity part of Vegas going towards Red Rock. And I remember them saying Andre Agassi's kids came there. I never saw them, and if I did, I didn't really know who they were. It was a Jewish-based private preschool, and so I ended up working there for almost a year. But then the garnishment came up because child support's like, hey, we got to send, you know, we got to garnish your wages when you owe child support, because my sister had applied for county benefits. And during that time, I think Clinton or somebody, one of them damn presidents, had put into law that, hey, when you get county benefits, the absentee parent will have to pay that back. My sister tried to find out who the daddy was without asking me, which was a disaster. So when she didn't get the information, she had to come to me because she was wrong when she thought it was the one person, but it wasn't, because it was only out of 2 guys. And she thought it was the other one. She thought she was, oh, he's my friend, I can talk to him. And he was like, no, I gave you the blood, but it ain't me, and it wasn't him. So then she come to me, oh, who the daddy? And I had to tell you it ain't him. So then I still didn't really tell her. I went to the daddy and told him. Gave him a picture of his child. I was like, this is your child, just so you know. And she pursued me. So the county actually pursued me and told me, hey, you're the absentee parent, you got to pay this back. And when you are not in compliance with your child support, as I said before, things are taken away from you, like your license. So when the private preschool got the garnishment notification, they really did decide to become prejudiced. And I'd rather you have been prejudiced over my goddamn complexion than the fact that I had to pay for my child. You knew I had another child, so one child, okay, so I started to feel the backlash. That was the first time I ever felt the fucking backlash of being a delinquent parent or absentee parent or in child support. And it wouldn't be the last time, but it was the first time, and it stung, and I ended up losing my job because I made the mistake of placing cookies in front of a child who never touched them, but because he had a peanut allergy, that was dangerous. And I was like, you're right, I absolutely understand, even though he never touched them, not one, but even giving the kids next to him could have caused a problem, but we're not gonna go there. It was the fact that they put it in a newsletter that was embarrassing. So the sting was always there.